glad this has been brought to attention again, because what's happening is completely outrageous. Now, even putting aside the question of how much money we should be spending on aid, I think most people would agree that the money that we do spend on aid should go to the most needy people. It should be spent on malaria nets. It should be spent on responding to humanitarian crises. It should be spent on tackling devastating diseases. That, in at least those cases, it can make a really huge difference. We saw this pledge come out. It was announced by Boris, and that there's still 55% of that money to be spent, and it's coming out of our aid budget. So it's being taken away from those very important causes, the extreme poverty that you see around the world, and it is being used for these climate causes. Now, part of that goes on things like flood defences, drought-resistant crops, and those things, I think, can make a real difference to some of the poorest people. But what doesn't make such a good difference is when we have solar panels, renewable technologies for people in the developing world. It's completely delusional to think that we can turn these countries from being developing countries to modern industrialized economies only using variable renewable technologies. There's been no example of any country that has managed to industrialize using renewables, and yet we're trying to say that this will work now. And I think it means we're also losing out diplomatically, because while Britain, the West, Europe, America says we won't fund fossil fuels in Africa, in other parts of the developing world, China is very happy to fund those projects such as coal power station, roads. We're saying we're too worthy to fund actually what is vital infrastructure that can really lift people out of poverty and create the actual economies that can be self-sustaining, that can be wealthy on their own terms and not needing of aid in the future. All the time we've got people in this country, as you say, who are in fuel poverty. They're having their support cut at a time when energy prices are being pushed up and up by green policies.